Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's Sunday Musings. If you're new, every week I get together and I spend a little bit of time talking about something that's important to me. I also write a weekly blog on Medium. You can find the link right here that complements what I talk about in my video musing. So I decided to start something new. Once a month, I'm going to talk about one of the books that I've been reading, because I've really been on a push for personal development. And I think sharing some of the books that I've chosen really speak to some of the things that have been on my mind within my own scope on my journey to finding my authentic self. But I'm going to take a little bit of a different step this week. It's my first. And take a moment to call out a wonderful, amazing, talented young lady by the name of Nartey, a budding author who at 8 years old published her first book just recently called Peter Learns a Lesson. Now, full disclosure, Georgia is my cousin's little girl, and she had, in the homeschooling last year with COVID-19, had to write a story, and she wrote a story about Peter the penguin, and it apparently went over very well at school and was presented to the Austin Molly publishers, and they loved it. So Georgia, an 8-year-old girl, worked for 1 year with the publishers to fine-tune her story and the illustrations for this book. So that is pretty cool. That speaks to resilience and passion and a true sense of achievement about somebody who has a goal or a dream and went after it. And that's hard for an adult to do. But for an 8-year-old girl, I can only take my hat off if I wore one to her. So I'm super proud of my little cousin Georgia. This is also an amazingly great book with a great storyline. And if you have young kids, I recommend you consider getting a copy of this book for them for upcoming Christmas or birthdays or back to school. So I think it's well worth celebrating this book and celebrating being willing to work towards achieving a goal. So let's take a look about it. So let's take a second and actually look at the book. I'm not going to read it. You have to buy it for that. As you look through, there are some great illustrations and stories. Georgia worked on all of these to make sure that they represented what she wanted. If you look at my Medium blog, there's also a link to a really cute radio interview that she did with her mom in a local Canadian news network. Did I mention she's up in Canada? So let's talk a little bit about the lesson. Peter is a young penguin who loves to play practical jokes on his friends, but sometimes he goes too far. I think we can all resonate with that. Sometimes we say or do things that we think might be funny and we realize in the moment that we've actually not done the right thing. So this is a story about learning that you can go too far and you can hurt friends and what you need to do to make amends. It's a great story about the consequences of doing wrong and how you can resolve that. I encourage you to definitely consider looking at the book. Now, there's one other reason that I am super excited about this book. And that is that Georgia is donating 25% of her annual royalties from this book to a local organization in her hometown called Brown Bagging for Calgary Kids. What it is it's a nonprofit in Calgary, Alberta, that helps make sure kids do not go hungry. We know that there are so many children out there that don't get enough food, that don't get square meals every day. And so this nonprofit ensures that children get healthy brown bag lunches every day at school, if they need them. And I think it's fantastic to hear that this little girl is being so generous with anything that she earns. This is my thought, and I would really love to hear your thoughts. And if you read the book, make sure you go onto Amazon or to the various book places and leave a good review. I think Georgia deserves it. And buy a copy for a friend. See you next week.